The mess hall was loud that afternoon, trays clattering, boots echoing, laughter bouncing off metal walls. The smell of coffee and reheated rations hung thick in the air. At a corner table, a young woman in a faded uniform sat quietly, her posture straight, eyes focused on a folder marked classified. She looked out of place, calm in a room full of rowdy warriors. A group of Navy SEALs entered, loud as ever, fresh from a training op. They spotted her right away. One of them, Petty Officer Grant, known for his arrogance, chuckled and nudged his teammate. "Hey, check it out. The Army sent us a babysitter," he sneered. "What's your rank again, sweetheart?" "Corporal." "Cadet." The woman didn't look up. She just flipped a page. The room went quiet for a beat, sensing tension building. Grant smirked and stepped closer. "You lost, ma'am. This section's for combat personnel. Not admin." Finally, she raised her eyes, calm, piercing, steady. "You're right," she said evenly. "This section is for combat personnel. That's why I'm sitting here." A few SEALs chuckled. Grant wasn't satisfied. "Really? What combat unit are you with?" "The knitting squad," he mocked. Laughter rippled across the table. Her lips curled slightly, not a smile, but something sharper. "You think rank makes you tougher, sailor?" she asked. Grant leaned in. "It sure does. I earned mine." She stood up slowly, her chair scraping across the floor, and for the first time, the light caught the insignia on her uniform, an eagle with a trident and anchor beneath it. "Commander." The laughter stopped. Grant blinked, his grin faltering. "Wait. You're Commander Ray Parker," she said, voice firm but not raised. "Former head of SEAL Team 7's Tactical Training Division. I was reassigned to evaluate your unit's readiness report, which, by the way, includes conduct and respect." The silence was deafening. Every SEAL in the room straightened up. Grant's face turned pale as realization sank in. She walked past him, picking up her tray without breaking stride. "If you're done proving how loud you can be," she said, "maybe next time, try proving how capable." Her boots echoed as she exited, leaving the hall in stunned quiet. Then, someone at the back, one of the senior SEALs, stood and gave a slow, deliberate salute. One by one, the others followed. Grant just sat there, speechless, staring at the door she'd walked through. That day, the story spread across the base, not about how a SEAL mocked someone, but how a commander reminded them what real rank and respect looked like. Later that evening, the mess hall was unusually quiet. The same SEALs who had laughed hours ago sat at the same table, the weight of embarrassment still thick in the air. Grant hadn't spoken much since the incident. Word had already spread through the base. Commander Parker had become the name on every whisper. Some called her the Ghost Commander, others the SEAL trainer who never missed. The door opened, and in she walked again, calm, composed, the kind of silence that carried authority. She wasn't wearing her uniform jacket this time, just a black tactical shirt with a faint scar visible on her forearm, a reminder that she'd earned every stripe the hard way. Grant stood immediately, stiff and awkward. "Commander, she raised a hand slightly. "At ease, Petty Officer. I didn't come here for apologies." He froze, unsure whether to sit or salute. She continued walking toward the table, her eyes scanning the team. "You boys like to test people," she said, stopping beside them. "That's good. Testing is how we find weakness. But mockery, that's how we show weakness." No one spoke. Even the kitchen staff pretended to be busy, listening in from the back. "Out there," she continued, pointing toward the training field outside the window, "rank doesn't protect you. Respect does. Trust does. If you can't respect the uniform someone wears, you won't trust them to watch your six when bullets fly." Her tone was calm, but every word hit like a strike. Grant swallowed hard. "Ma'am, I didn't mean to." "I know," she interrupted gently. "You didn't mean to insult me. You just didn't think someone like me could have earned this rank. That's your real problem." She dropped a small folder on the table, his evaluation file. "Tomorrow at 0500, you and your squad will report for readiness drills. I'll be running them personally. You'll have your chance to prove how much your team has learned about discipline." Grant straightened. "Yes, ma'am." She nodded once and turned to leave, but paused by the door. "And Grant," he looked up quickly. She smirked faintly. "You're a good soldier, but the best ones learn fastest when they've been humbled. Don't waste that lesson." With that, she walked out again, quiet, precise, confident. The room stayed silent until she disappeared around the corner. Then one SEAL exhaled. "She's tougher than any instructor we've had," he muttered. Grant just nodded, eyes fixed on the door. Yeah, he said quietly. And she didn't even have to raise her voice. The next morning, before dawn, every SEAL on base was lined up in perfect formation. No one dared to arrive late. Commander Parker stood before them, expression unreadable, but in her eyes, there was something new. Not anger, not pride, respect. And as the first whistle blew, they finally understood what leadership really looked like.